I want to give you 5 Framer SEO tips that can help rank your Framer site, not just higher on Google, thus bringing in a bunch more traffic to your site, but also getting your Framer site to be recommended by LLMs. In other words, to show up on ChatGPT, Google's AI reviews, Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot, whenever someone prompts in something into those. So I want to show you that step by step, and let's just jump straight into the very first tip, which is something that you might feel like it's not really necessary, but it is 100% necessary. So first things first is your meta titles and meta descriptions. Now this is highly important for 2 reasons. Okay, I'll show you an example. Let's say we are a plumber. Let's just do plumber Dallas. Okay, this works for any niche, any business, agency, software, local business. Doesn't matter what you sell, what you do. Like, it works for any business and any language. Okay, so scrolling down right here, what I can see here is that this is these guys' meta title, right? This is the meta description. Title, description, title, description. Why is this important? Well, for 2 reasons. Just because these guys rank first doesn't necessarily mean that they get the most clicks. For example, these guys have this little thing right here, which is done with schema markup, which I'll leave a link for a video teaching how to do this. It's quite simple. It's just a little snippet of code you add to your site to get these extra features. You could also have images right here and a couple more things. Again, it's a little snippet of code you add to your site that gives you a lot of extra features in the search engine ranking pages, okay? But again, going back to the meta title and meta description, like, why is this so important? Why these 2 things here are hyper important? Because again, they give you 2 things: click through rate, CTR, and because you can sort of SEO optimize them. This is a bit redundant because SEO stands for search engine optimization, but you can optimize them by plugging in your keywords right here. So the reason why these guys rank first, right? The reason why the ranking factors that come into play here is that these guys have the the main keyword people are searching for in the meta title and also in the description. So one of the ranking factors, and there's many ranking factors, of course, there's backlinks, there's a bunch more stuff which we'll speak in a bit about, but one of them is, do you have the keyword that people are searching for in your title and description? Pretty straightforward. If you don't have them, add it, right? These guys, residential plumber, I mean, they have the keyword right here. For example, these guys right here, plumber, HVAC company, Dallas, Texas, Dallas Plumbing, and AC. So they're not as hyper focused around plumbing as these guys, because these guys focus on HVAC, AC as well. So these guys, Google doesn't feel like these guys are as relevant for this search query as these guys are. Plumber 24/7, plumber Dallas. Okay, so that's very important that you sprinkle in your keywords on your meta title and meta description. And that can be done via these 2 things. Okay, now don't overdo it, don't like keyword stuff it, but at least have them there or a variation of the keyword. For example, for this niche, you can do plumber and plumbing. Okay, so that's very important. Again, this works for any niche or any type of business. Now the second thing, that's the SEO part done. Second thing is the CTR, right? For example, a lot of people make these be super long enough that oftentimes even Google ads, let's see right if I can find an example like this, doesn't make any sense right here. It's too long that the rest doesn't even show up. So there's a limit in the number of characters you should be plugging in right here. And I'll give you an example. You can even use this this free extension that we've developed. I'll leave a link for it in the description. This gives you, basically allows you to inspect every page on your site, and it gives you a quick analysis on if your meta title is long, is too short, and also some tips on how to fix it real quickly. So there you go. Let me just open this up right here. So page title is set, but it's too short. It's 46 characters. It should be between 50 and 70. Again, no more than 70, because again, what's going to happen is that it's going to become too long. So anything you write anything you write after 70 doesn't even show up. So it's kind of pointless, right? So, and this stuff is very important, right? They try to plug in the phone number right here, but it's kind of pointless because people still have to click. Maybe this is like what they're trying to do, but it doesn't make any sense to do that. So think about your meta title and meta description. On one hand, sprinkling your keywords in there for SEO optimizations, and then think about the CTR, think about the click-through rate. Think about the words you include. Should you include 24/7? Maybe you should, because someone looking for a plumber might be on an urgent timeline. So maybe including the words 24/7 availability or emergency plumber could be a good thing. So think about how you can extrapolate this for your niche and apply it right here in the settings tab for each one of your pages. So that's the very first thing. And by the way, like this free plugin analyzes a bunch of the pages on your site, the homepage, the blog, for all this cool stuff right here. And also, if you just go here, you can even inspect the page further for a bunch of things like the schema I mentioned in the beginning, and a bunch more cool stuff. And the good thing about this is that it works for your site, or you can plug in any competitor site right here and see what they're doing. So you can easily analyze the competition. And by the way, again, this is 100% free. So there you go, it's analyzed. There's the overview tab, gives you a bunch of cool data. The SERP tab, so there you go. Social tab, if you have an image right here, is very important as well. Headings, analyzes all your headings. Links as well, images, schema too. There's no schema here in this site. And technical SEO, there you go, also analyzes all this stuff for you. Now let's move on to tip number 2. So part of the SEO game, part of ranking a site higher on Google and getting traffic and getting mentions across LLMs is also backlinks, okay? Because SEO is made out of 3 pillars, okay? We have the on-page SEO, okay? We have off-page SEO, and we have technical SEO. Technical SEO is what we just went over right now. The meta titles, meta descriptions, the site speed, the schema markup. It's very important because, I mean, for example, for site speed, if your site ranks first, but it's super slow, people can click on it because it's first. But if it takes so long to load, people are just going to click off and click the second guy. If they do that enough, well, eventually you're going to lose the first ranking position. Hopefully that made sense. So you have to track the 3 pillars, right? On-page SEO is what happens on your site. What you write on your site, the pages you build, the keywords you target. And off-page is backlinks. And we'll speak about on-page in a bit, right? But off-page is backlinks, building backlinks. Now, what's the best way to build backlinks right now? Well, I'll show you what the best way is to literally go into ChatGPT or any other LLM you like to use and type in a prompt for which you like your brand to show up for. Let's go with the plumber niche. Let's go, for example, with my niche. I'll give you an example for my own brand. So Arvo, we are a software business, right? And we have one feature that allows you to, I'll tie this all in. This feature basically allows you to check for which prompts your brand shows up in LLMs. For example, for my brand right here, I can see, okay, we show up in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, and also the sentiment. So if we do show up, if they're saying good or bad things about us, and I can see the prompts, for example, for the prompt, what's the best AI software for SEO agencies? I can click this and I can see, okay, which LLMs mention my brand? In fact, it's only Grok. And I can click even further and see and look at where is Arvo, my brand, mentioned. And there's also links for citations, but more on this later on. Point being is that let's say I want to show up for what's the best AI SEO software for Framer. Framer, right? Again, this is the best way to build backlinks in 2026. It's to look at the brands that are being mentioned by LLMs and then seeing why. Looking at the citations, looking at the sources that led this LLM to mention these brands. Let me show you what I mean. I have this on extended thinking. I should probably reduce it to standard so it will be a bit faster, but I'll be back in a second once this is done loading. Okay, there we go. It is done. And there's a bunch of brands right here being recommended. Now I'll go here and click on the sources and see, okay, where are these brands being recommended from? Sure, a lot of it comes from the Framer site. Like a lot of it comes from other sources, for example, from right here. So I look at this, okay, a lot of the brands that are being mentioned right here are being mentioned so because they show up in these sources. So I can click this and I can see, okay, this is an article with the 5 best Framer SEO plugins in 2026. Okay, they mention all these brands, right? All these brands. So how do I get my brand here? So this is how you find the backlink opportunity, is to look at the prompt you want your brand to show up for. Okay, this is basically 2-in-1. Look at the prompt you want your brand to show up for. Look at the brands that are being mentioned. Maybe yours isn't, and that kind of sucks. In fact, ours is, because whatever, right? Because we've made this work. We made it so that we produced content around this. For example, right here we have a page on this exact keyword, tracking this exact keyword, right? We have our brand being mentioned across other sources, right? So we've built this backlink to some extent. But again, placing the prompts you want, look at the brands that are being mentioned, and look at the sources, like where, because again, these are right here because they're being cited from somewhere else, right? And so this is a 2-in-1 in the sense that 1, you get a backlink from a valuable source, and 2, it's a source that currently is being cited for the prompt that you want your brand to show up for. Okay, and then you just take this. You can even check the overall authority score of the sites real quick here. Let's see here, DR76. So you can get a backlink from a DR76 site. Now, of course, what you do now is manual work. You get in touch with these guys. You scroll down to the bottom, go to the contacts page, which all they have right here. Excuse me. Contacts, right, support, right? You just email them saying, hey, I noticed you have a blog page, a post that talks about XYZ. How much do you guys charge to include my brand here as the 6th or the first position? And if not, how much do you guys charge to create a new article that mentions my brand? And trust me, most of these guys, if not all, will accept some type of money for this. Now, this is a way in which you can build and pay for backlinks. I'll give you some ways in which you can build backlinks for free in the coming videos, but this is my second tip and the most efficient one to build backlinks, is to not just randomly outreach to certain sites, it's to outreach to the sites that you know show up for the prompt that you want to rank for. Hopefully that made sense, or that you want to show up for in LLMs. Hopefully that made sense. But again, I'll give you some ideas on how to build backlinks for free in the coming videos, but that's basically tip number 2. And by the way, if you want to give this a go at this extension, I'll leave a link for it in the description. You can try it out for free. It's fully free. And honestly, if you just optimize it, if you just install it and optimize a couple of your pages, it's worth your time, in my opinion. So yeah, that's basically it on this. And tip number 3 to again, get more traffic and get more citations is to just produce content, right? Reason why you saw these brands, reason why brands get cited by LLMs is because they take in content from somewhere, from your site, for example. Like for example, right here, for this prompt that you just saw, right? Reason why we're mentioned right here is because there's a page on our site, as you saw before, right here, that targets the search intent of that same prompt. So I wanted to rank for that prompt. I wanted to show up for the prompt, what's the best AI software for Framer, right? So I made a piece of content and published it to my site saying, hey, here's the best Framer SEO plugin. And there's a full-on in-depth article. This was all done with Arvo, by the way. Arvo allows you to write articles fully automated. You can even set up an automatic blog that fully automatically writes articles for you. I'll just give you a quick example right here. For example, this one is about, I don't know, flying fish, I think. This is all done with AI. The featured image, table of contents, proper content structure with in-article images, internal links, external links, even in-article videos. Let me quickly show you an example on a proper one. Here's a couple more like images, links, internal links, external links. So all this is done with AI, and there's even embedded videos. If there's something you don't like, you just go here and edit the content. So add links. You select the part that you want to add links to. Our AI will find the best place to add external links to. Boom, there you go. And you can change things around. You can even change the images around. You can reprompt them. You can select parts of the article and say, okay, add keywords here, so you can sprinkle in your brand keywords right here. You can rewrite it, make it longer, make a chart, make a list, make a table. You can add custom prompts, or you can even speak with the AI assistant. This will basically speak with the article as a whole. So that's pretty cool. And you can just go here, straight here, publish article, and publish it straight to your site, to your Framer site. And if you want to set up a fully automation, like fully automatic blogging, go here, type in, for example, Framer auto blog, enable auto blog, full automation mode, hit continue, select how many articles you want to publish straight to your site every single day, week, hours. And this will just basically generate and publish content straight to your site. Again, there's some nuance to this. You have to select integration, you have to integrate with your Framer site, but it's quite easy. I'll leave 2 links down below. One for how to do this manually, and 2 for how to do this with Claude Code using the MCP. It's a bit more like technical, but both ways are possible. So I'll leave 2 links for down below so you guys can check to see it. The first way is using Zapier. Second one is just using Claude Code, but I'll leave links for that down below. And these are basically the tips that I have for you right now. I don't want to make this video super long. I don't want to give you too many tips. I just want to give you some actionable tips. So if you want more Framer SEO tips like this, let me know by liking the video, and let me know by commenting Framer SEO tips, because this way I know that you guys made it this far, and that if you do comment Framer SEO tips, that you want more tips. Thank you so much for watching. Do check the links in the description and comment Framer SEO tips, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.